Ah yes, the Marder Infantry Fighting Vehicle, or as I like to call it, the unsung hero of the German battlefield. Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today we're taking a dive into the most fascinating armoured vehicles I think that have ever been created for the German military. Honestly, I can't believe it's taken me this long to actually cover the Marder, considering the channel's obsession with tanks, IFVs and all things military. This is practically a Matsimus rite of passage. Now here's a fun question for you before we start. What's your favourite infantry fighting vehicle? Let me know in the comment section below, and yes, BMP fans, you are welcome here too, even if you're wrong. Just kidding, or am I? Let's get to it. So back in my days as a tank mechanic in the British Army stationed in good old Germany, I got up and close and personal with the Marder. Let me tell you, riding in one of these beauties was an absolute treat. It was like stepping into a masterpiece of German engineering compared to the Warrior, and I am a massive fan of the Warrior, but I have to say, in terms of capabilities, the Marder really took a big spotlight in infantry fighting vehicle capabilities, and yes, it worked even better than my Land Rover on most days. So let's break this down a little bit. Its history, its variants, its combat record, and why it's still holding its ground today. The Marder Infantry Fighting Vehicle emerged from the Cold War's urgent need for versatile armoured transport. Designed in the 1960s, it was a response to NATO's demand for a vehicle that could keep infantry protected and combat ready alongside the beautiful Leopard 1 tank, which you're seeing here. Germany's defensive engineers faced a daunting challenge though. They needed a machine that was fast, durable, heavily armoured, and not too tall. Early prototypes suffered growing pains with issues like unreliable suspensions and a cramped crew layout. One prototype even had the commander sitting outside the turret, an engineering failure, so to speak. Despite these hiccups, Rheinmetall and Thyssen-Henschel delivered the Marder in 1971. Sporting sloped frontal armour equivalent to 70mm of steel and the Rheinmetall Mark 20 cannon, it was ready for Cold War hotspots. Its versatility was groundbreaking. It wasn't just a, quote, battle taxi. The Marder brought firepower and protection to the mechanised infantry of its time, becoming a vital companion for German Leopard tanks. With a roomy, for its time, interior 6-soldier setup and a durable diesel engine, it quickly became the pride of the Bundeswehr. But here's the kicker. No one anticipated its longevity. The Marder has outlived its Cold War peers, proving itself in the Balkans, Afghanistan and, of course, now even Ukraine in the front lines. A testament to German engineering, of course, this vehicle's origin story blends perseverance, ingenuity, and a dash of battlefield brilliance. Its design truly is quite incredible. The 1990s brought the Marder into the Balkans during NATO's Kosovo intervention. Here it showcased its versatility, performing tasks like guarding checkpoints, convoy escorts, and patrolling rugged terrain. But the true baptism for fire came during Germany's deployment to Afghanistan as part of the International Security Assistance Force, or ISAF. The Marder's thick armour and superior mobility, including of modular capability of armour, and the reliable 20mm cannon made it a frontline favourite. It wasn't just a vehicle, it was a psychological boost for the German troops in harsh and hostile hot environments. Afghanistan's heat tested the Marder, literally. Crew compartments reached oven-like temperatures, prompting the addition of air conditioning. Despite such challenges though, it proved invulnerable to flanking positions and operations, and quick reaction force duties were very welcomed by this vehicle. It was also used in mixed formations with other vehicles like the Dingo. Enemy RPGs and IEDs posed constant threats, but the Marder held its ground, reinforcing its status as a battlefield workforce. In the fast forward to 2020, the Marder finds itself, of course, in Ukraine, defending against Russian aggression. Ukrainian forces praise its resilience and protection, noting how it holds up to autocannon fire. Its combination of mobility and firepower allows it to operate effectively in counteroffensive roles, a modern testament to its enduring design. From peacekeeping to full-scale war, the Marder has cemented its legacy as a dependable, battle-ready platform and thrives under its pressure. It's not a static piece of history though, it's an evolving platform and has really been adapted to meet the changing demands of warfare over its history. Over the decades, its variants have demonstrated Germany's engineering commitment to innovation and battlefield effectiveness. The earliest variant, the Marder 1A1, introduced night vision capabilities and upgraded its fire control systems, making it more versatile for nocturnal operations. The 1A2 followed, featuring thermal imaging devices and enhanced radios to improve communication and target acquisition. These upgrades made the Marder a more integrated and effective tool for the mechanized infantry of its time. The Marder 1A3, arguably the most iconic variant, addressed the increasing threat of the 30mm autocannon rounds by adding thicker armour. This version also included redesigned ammunition feeds and roomier interior, enhancing both survivability and crew comfort. The 1A4 variant, although produced in smaller numbers, specialised as a mobile command post equipped with advanced communication systems. Then came the Marder 1A5, which marked a significant shift in focus. With the lessons of Afghanistan fresh in mind, this variant emphasised mine protection, reinforced armour, shock-resistant interiors, and the air conditioning systems made it favourable for deployments in hostile and hot environments. The 1A5A1 took these upgrades further, adding multi-spectral camouflage, electronic protection systems, and additional roof protection. Export variants also played a role in extending Marder's reach. Argentina, for instance, adapted the platform into their Tanque Argentino Mediano, or TAM series, while Chile and Indonesia employed Marder variants tailored for extreme altitudes and tropical climates. From its Cold War origins to its modern adaptations, the Marder's variants showcase its resilience and relevance. The vehicle was also a masterclass in balanced design, combining that mobility and firepower and protection into a versatile package for many militaries to consider. Designed to keep up with those Leopard tanks in the Cold War, its specifications remain impressive even decades later. At its core, the Marder is powered by an MTU MB833 EA500 diesel engine, generating a rather impressive 600 horsepower. This power allows the vehicle to reach up to about 65 km per hour on roads and maintain a range of 520 km, about 20 km over its British peer, the Warrior. Its ground clearance of 0.45 meters and ability to climb vertical obstacles of 1 meter make it a reliable companion in rugged terrain. The vehicle's dimensions include a length of around 6.79 meters and a width of 3.24 meters, and a height of 2.98 meters, which, to be honest, for a vehicle of this kind is quite impressive with a low profile. Depending on the variant, the weight ranges up from 28.5 to 37 tons. There are also upgrades that can add the weight up to around 42 tons, and reflecting an upgrades of armour of the systems over the time, there's lots of capability to change this vehicle in its setup. Speaking of armour, the Marder's steel hull provides protection against 20mm and 25mm armoured-piercing rounds, ensuring survivability against most threats encountered in mechanised warfare. For firepower, the Marder features a 20mm Rheinmetall Mark 20 automatic cannon as its main armament, capable of engaging both infantry and light armoured vehicles. Complementing this is a standard 7.62 MG3 machine gun and a Milan anti-tank guided missile system, which provides effective anti-armor capabilities at ranges up to 2,000 meters. Of course, Milan is a very old system now. Back in its time, Milan was a very formidable anti-tank weapon system, but nowadays the infantry are kind of taking upon their own weapon systems that are being deployed outside of the vehicle instead of having integrated anti-tank missiles of today. Inside, the Marder houses a crew of 3. Commander, gunner and driver can transport 6 infantry soldiers full with their gear and extras in the rear compartment. Advanced optics, including thermal imaging and night vision, enable very good operations in any lighting and weather conditions. This is a notably common theme that I hear from people who have utilised this vehicle, and even myself when I was there, is looking through the optics compared to battle group thermal imaging of the Warrior was night and day, literally. With its robust specifications, it's a prime example of the engineering excellence that's been pushed into from the German industry of this vehicle. The vehicle, of course, though, is not just a German icon. It has a significant role in various different international militaries, showcasing all over the world. Argentina's love affair particularly focused in the 1970s, as I mentioned, with that TAM family that was heavily inspired by the German IFV. There are other different variants that have been utilised across the world as well, though, and to be honest with you, I'm surprised not many other nations have not purchased this, because it is such a practical utilitarian vehicle to be utilised. Indonesia, a nation with a unique geographical challenge, acquired Marders to navigate its dense jungles and rugged terrain. Their decision to include the Marder in their military really highlights its reliability and versatility, even in tropical climates, which, to be honest with you, are some of the nastiest ones you can be in. Meanwhile, Jordan integrated Marder into its mechanized forces under a German military assistance program. The vehicle's rugged design and robust armor made it a valuable asset in the Middle East's harsh conditions. International users often retrofit the Marders, though, with locally developed technologies or enhance them with additional features to suit their unique operational needs. For instance, Chile has focused on adapting the vehicle for high-altitude operations, while Indonesia prioritizes mobility in challenging terrains. These international deployments underscore the Marder's status as a global IFV icon, and I hate to say this because I am a massive CV90 fanboy, but let's be honest, the CV90 and the Marder are very close in their reliability and capabilities of the spectrum of the vehicles made at that time. The vehicle has consistently evolved though to meet the demands of modern warfare, benefiting from decades of upgrades and networking between the fleets around the world to enhance its combat effectiveness, similar, as I mentioned, of the CV-90. Its enduring service is a testament to German engineering and forward-thinking approach to military hardware. Some of the modernization efforts began in the late 1970s with the introduction of that thermal imaging and night vision systems from the 1A1 and 1A2 variants. These made them very effective with low light conditions, providing a very good tactical edge in reconnaissance and combat operations, and for the Cold War, this was something that was highly required. By the late 1980s, the 1A3 added huge upgrades to counter that 30mm autocannon round, and the 1A5 variant, as mentioned before, introduced in the early 2000s, responded to the growing threat of landmines and IEDs by reinforcing the anti-mine armor, improved interiors, shock-resistant seating that protected the crews from explosions, and air conditioning systems. The 1A5A1 refined these enhancements with special multispectral camouflage, roof protection, and advanced electronic systems. One of the most significant modernizations has been the integration of the MELS anti-tank missile system, giving the Marder the ability to engage armoured targets at ranges of up to 4,000 metres. Despite the introduction of the Puma IFV, the Marder remains a relevant vehicle on today's battlefield. Its modernised systems have extended its service life, making it a fairly critical asset in conflicts such as the war in Ukraine. The transition from the Marder Infantry Fighting Vehicle to its successor with the Puma marks the next chapter in Germany's mechanized infantry capabilities. However, the Marder's story is far from over. While the Puma represents cutting-edge technology, and I have to say the Puma is an incredible piece of kit, the Marder still remains a component for military operations, particularly as I mentioned in Ukraine, where it's found a new purpose in modern conflict, particularly with fast, maneuverable infantry carriers that get troops in and out of tricky situations, and particularly that of drones. Of course, not protected so much against some of the drone warfare that's happening, however, they are fast, mobile, very flexible getting across nasty terrain, and this is something that troops in Ukraine need. The transition from the Marder to its successor the Puma IFV marks the next chapter in Germany's mechanized infantry capabilities. However, the Marder's story is far from over. While the Puma represents cutting-edge technology, the Marder remains a critical component of military operations, as I said, in Ukraine. The Puma, introduced after years of development, offers advancements such as modular armor, an unmanned turret, and digital management systems. Its air transportability and increased survivability make it an ideal fit for the future battlefield. Yet transitioning to the Puma has been a gradual and quite difficult process, leaving the Marder to shoulder much of the operational burden in the interim. In Ukraine, the Marder has proven its worth yet again. Germany's decision to supply Ukraine with Marders as part of the military aid highlighted the vehicle's enduring relevance. Ukrainian forces quickly integrated these IFVs into their mechanized units, leveraging their thick armor and reliable firepower to counter-offensive operations. The Marder's ability to withstand autocannon fire and its capacity to deliver infantry safely to the front lines have made it a fairly valuable asset. While not as advanced as the Puma, the Marder's robustness and simplicity have been very advantageous in the Ukrainian challenging combat environment. Its deployment alongside other modern Western equipment, such as the Bradley and the Swedish CV-90, underscores its capability to complement newer systems. The transition to the Puma symbolizes progress, but the Marder's ongoing service really is a very true testament to a legacy that is one of resilience, adaptability, and unwavering support for the infantry on the ground. We have to remember that this is truly getting the infantry where they need to be, cementing its place in military history for the German military anyway, in being very reliable at doing so. So, what's the verdict? The Marder isn't just a vehicle, it's a symbol for German reliability and adaptability. While it may have not been the flashiest tech of its time compared to modern IFVs like the Puma or the Bradley, it remains steadfast as a workhorse and has stood over the test of time. It strikes the perfect balance between firepower, protection, and mobility, a trifecta that few vehicles in its class can boast. Of course, no vehicle is without its flaws, and maybe I'm showcasing and boistering up this vehicle quite a bit, but the Marder's tight interior can be a squeeze for troops. It's been known that it's very difficult to work as an infantry section with this vehicle because it's just very cramped. It's very low hanging to get yourself inside of there. As you can see, these troops with the brass getting bounced off the back of them. Most of the configurations when these vehicles are transporting troops are in the open hatch, and we don't tend to do that very often, particularly in the British Army anyway. In the Canadian Army they do. I know the Armoured Corps, they have a particular way of setting up their vehicles when they're travelling, so they're patrolling and seeing out the back. The Brits don't really do that much. There's a lot more room in the back of the Warrior than there is in the Marder, which makes things for a little bit more comfortable when you're bouncing around and really nasty terrain. And some of its older systems also don't match some of the more digital sophistication of today's IFVs, making it more challenging to integrate into the digital battle space. But let's be real, this vehicle wasn't designed to win a beauty contest or an AI arms race. It was built to get the job done and get that infantry to the front, protect those inside of it and that of the front. And it's delivered it in spades. From the Cold War to contemporary conflicts, the Marder has earned its place in military history, and I really do feel that Germany was onto a winner with this vehicle and has really built the foundation for the Puma and the rest of its IFV fleet. Thanks so much for joining me today, folks. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the legendary Marder IFV, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I cannot express to you how much it helps me, the channel, and just our community that follow the Matsimus channel by engaging with the video. It's really difficult at the moment due to the competition throughout there in the military network of YouTube to get my videos shown to my followers because the algorithm is very tactile to engagement. So if you could leave me a like, just a quick comment, I'd really appreciate it. And if you have your own favorite infantry fighting vehicle, of course, please let me know. Drop it in the comment section below. Whether it's a BMP, Bradley, or even something even more futuristic, please let me know. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and keep exploring the incredible history of military machines that have shaped our battlefields of today. Matsimus, out.